Hey everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We are starting off first with 10 of Cups. The second card that we have is Temperance. All right, with this, you can be on your way to figuring out how to live your life in the best way possible. When we have 10 of Cups, this is not just I'm trying to create this happiness that I feel for a second and then it goes away. 10 of Cups is about a sustainable type of happiness, a sustainable type of joy, a sustainable sort of peace that we can experience within our life. So it's something that can be lasting. And having Temperance there, you can be figuring out exactly how to do that. So rather than going through the ups and downs or kind of chasing something and then it's there and then it leaves just as quickly, this is about creating that lasting sense of connection. Which it feels like you're in the process of doing. And how you're going to know that you're figuring it out is that instead of going through these more constant ups and downs, when you feel joy, it will be something that's beginning to feel more consistent or beginning to feel more of a baseline for you. So that doesn't mean that we don't have other experiences that we're having. You can have all these different emotions, but when you come back to what your baseline is, it will be something where you're feeling, for the most part, like pretty content with the way things are, like pretty happy with the way things are. You look around and you see the things around you and you feel joy and peace within your heart. So that's how you know. And having Temperance here is that process of tuning into your own rhythm and compass that is going to kind of lead you to accomplishing that. Because whatever it is that we're manifesting, whatever it is that we have the intention of creating within our lives, it's really possible for us to do that. So right now you can be wanting to feel like happy with particular things. And it's not just like approaching this like happiness is a destination to reach. This is more so like understanding how everything is going to add up to something that you feel happy with at the end of the day. Choices that you make now that you feel good about, the byproduct of that is a life that you feel happy with. So when you're making choices where you're really asking yourself and touching base with yourself about how you feel, you're really following your intuition when it comes to the choices that you're making, you're navigating through things as difficult as they might be. At the end of the day, what ends up being cultivated by making choices in alignment with this is that you feel happy with things overall. As I said before, it doesn't mean that you don't have some days that are difficult, or that you never get stressed out, or you never feel anxious or worried about anything, but it means that for the most part, when you come back to your baseline, there's this sense of serenity and peace that you feel. Having Temperance is about tuning into your own inner compass that is teaching you how to cultivate that in your life. So it's a process. It's not something that we figure out overnight. It's kind of like you have these different things that they present to you and you have to figure out, like, is this the right choice or is that the right choice? Is this the right move or should I take a step back here? And these are the sorts of things that you move through that end up cultivating that for you. So it's something like every day that you can be doing that's going to build up to this byproduct of you feeling good about things. So yeah, it's not, for the most part, it's not just going to be like one grand choice that you make and then you're going to be happy for the rest of your life. You know, things don't really work like that. It's going to be within the little things that you do that add up. And that is what the 10 of Cups really is. Because you got there in a sustainable way. And that doesn't mean that you can't feel happiness in an unsustainable way. It means that you can, but then it goes away very quickly. And when we have a 10 of Cups, 10s are about, like 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, we want that thing to be lasting. We want there to be longevity to it. So rather than it coming and going quickly, it's about finding the sustainable way to accomplish this. having Chariot there, I feel like you are figuring it out, and you can feel really good because of that. Like, you're seeing that this actually works and that you can actually do this. That also means that you can be unlearning other things that would oppose this, like making choices for different reasons that then don't cultivate this feeling. So you can be kind of finding your way through this, especially when it comes to you and your place in this and how you determine the direction that you're going in as well, and the role that you play within all of this when it comes to choices that pop up within your life and what that ends up creating as a reverberation of that. And having Temperance and having Chariot can indicate that the way to do this doesn't always feel extremely obvious, and so there does have to be a lot of checking in when it comes to figuring out your strategy and what the right strategy is in order to cultivate this for you. I'm seeing King of Wands, and I'm also seeing Five of Swords, which can mean that in you doing things in this way, you may be, so you're King of Wands here. Having Five of Swords can be energies around you that you feel may like judge you for the choices that you make. If this were something that you were reacting to, it could end up foiling this for you. So what this means is that it's about having the strength to stand within what you believe is important and the choices that you're making, because you have to be the one that's happy with your life at the end of the day. But this can indicate that you have, it can be internal stuff. It can also be connected with people around you that maybe you feel like don't understand why you're making choices that you're making. I think this is coming up more so just to recognize that that is something that can maybe be a bit of a barrier here. It can be people being like, I don't understand why you're doing things in that way, but you're figuring things out for yourself. And in order to step into the energy of the King of Wands, you have to be confident in yourself. King of Wands is a fire energy. King of Wands is an energy that is going to stand strong within the choices that they make and not be swayed by another person's judgment or opinion. So this can also be something that you're cultivating within your life right now. Because if this were something that you were reactive to the perceived judgment in the Five of Swords, you can be living your life not feeling happy with it, but you're like, at least that person isn't judging me, but then it's not really cultivating what you want. So there can be some of this that's happening where you kind of have to kick this into gear to step up and say, this is the way that I'm going, and that just is what it is, and it's okay. You can think what you think. I'm not going to change what I'm doing because this is for me. So there can be like themes like this that are coming up where you have to be confident within yourself. And you have to trust yourself and your vision and the way that you're doing things, even though you can have other people that don't understand you. And when Five of Swords comes out in a position like this, what this means is that in you making these choices that you're cultivating this joy and happiness within your life, what that means is that the people around you that are not doing that are going to feel... People can. It doesn't mean that it has to happen, but just because of seeing this Five of Swords here, there can be people around you that feel triggered by you doing this, and it will only be the people that are not cultivating joy within their life. So this will be people that look at you and they're like, well, I sacrificed for this person or that person, and I'm miserable because of it. And then there's that feeling of seeing you doing things differently and them not feeling good within themselves, but can be projecting onto you. So that's also something that you can be experiencing as well. It can come in the form of like judgment, jealousy, a lack of understanding, a lack of compassion, can be these sorts of things. And what you're meant to understand about this is that you are a symbol and can be a catalyst if somebody is open to it for a way that they may actually prefer to be living their life, but they're not aligned with that yet. And so as much as it can feel difficult to kind of stand within your own energy here and not be swayed by this, you are actually becoming a beacon of light for like a better way of living for those around you by doing this. And it can actually end up being very, very inspiring for people that have not found their voice in this way yet and have not found themselves in this way yet. And so the people that are open to the teaching that they can gain by experiencing you doing this are people that can then use this as a catalyst to make necessary changes within their life. And the people that are not open to it can maybe stay mad, and that just is what it is. But either way, it's not meant to deter you. So because this is coming up, it can be kind of like maybe you're going to be seeing this or you have been experiencing this, and it's to understand where that really comes from and that it's not really about you. It's about people and their relationship with themselves. But that's why it can be aimed towards you, because you're kind of bringing that up for them by living your life in this way. And people don't really feel empowered, and so it's showing them where they don't feel like that, and when they're not, where they're not autonomous and making the choices that they really do want to be making, maybe feel like they're not brave enough to be making. And so there can be that kind of dynamic that you can experience with certain people. And again, coming to this place of understanding that that's about them and their relationship with themselves. And you just keep focusing on you and doing your own thing, and people can either experience you doing this and they can make changes that they feel good about, or they can stay within their own energy and they're just going to stay in that spot, and then it is what it is. And that's their choice at the end of the day. Yeah, it really depends. Like 5 of Swords, let's say that this can be a person or people that are judging you. 5 of Swords can be somebody that looks at something that you're doing and they realize, I need to make some changes within my life because I'm actually not feeling good about the way that things are, and you're showing me a different way. So you end up in a way being an energetic mentor for these people. Then you have other people that are closed off and not willing to make those changes, and then they're going to sit around and be disgruntled about it. But that is really up to them and where they are energetically, because anybody can be open to something, anybody can be closed to something. That really just depends on each individual person. So having this be as it is, it seems in general like you are connecting with something that feels very vibrant within your life as far as this like rhythm that you're tuned to now. And I think that what you're gonna see is that other people that are in a place of peace, you will be able to really connect with them and be on that same wave where life becomes about joy and life becomes very colorful and life becomes inspiring and warm. And you are also most likely, just because of what I'm seeing here, gonna experience people that will feel triggered because you're not being reactive to whatever's going on with them, and because you have a type of peace that a person can see you experiencing and they want that for themselves, and are either going to say, I need to make these changes and then I'm going to be able to have that too, because anybody can have this, or they'll look at that and say, I'm not doing that within myself, and so I'm just going to stay mad at you. So it's again coming back to this thing of these different ways that you can experience interactions with other people, and making sure that you're just like minding your business and staying in your lane, and that you don't need to have this be something that you don't need to feel like you're doing anything wrong, because that can be something that comes up too. Like, you don't need to be reactive to this. Because then you're just going to be doing the same thing, you know what I mean? So in order for you to stand in your light in this way, you know, you can have certain energies that come at you because of it. It's kind of like if you're doing something groundbreaking, there are certain people that are going to be like, wow, amazing, and be like really supportive because they feel empowered within their lives. And then you're going to have other people that are around that are not feeling good and are going to have like things to say about it and judgments and all of that. So I think this is just like understanding the like reality and maybe the polarity of things too, where you're like, if I'm making choices that I really feel happy with and I'm like cultivating a deep sense of joy and intrigue and contentment within my life, why would that be upsetting? So maybe there to certain people around me, so maybe there's just a more like psychological insight that's being gained as you move through this. And understanding too that even when you're going the right way, there will be energies that have things to say about it, but it doesn't, you're not meant to take that and feel like you're doing anything in the wrong way, because I'm not really seeing that be going on here. And maybe it can be something where you're just more, get more solid within yourself. And you can also be learning, like the way that this Five of Swords is coming across, this feels like a person or people that you do have these like interactions with. You may be learning how to communicate, like how to have dialogue with people like this. I'm not saying that you have to, but when it comes up, you know, we can't always like avoid situations, not that you even need to be avoiding anything in the first place, but you know, sometimes we have experiences where people are aggressive towards us or where people are judgmental or whatever. How do you have those conversations if you're going to engage in those conversations and come at it in a way where you're not just like matching somebody's energy, but staying within your vibration of what this is that you're cultivating within your life, and allowing a person to take it or leave it without having to get defensive, without having to, they're triggered, now you're going to get triggered, without having to do all of that. So maybe there's also something coming up about being able to have those dialogues and have those conversations and stay strong within this, and also be able to like communicate with people that have different perspectives or opposing perspectives at times, and be able to have those conversations and still stay doing what it is that you're doing. If you have somebody around you that has been giving you a hard time and making it much more difficult for you to be doing this, some of you can be getting to the point where you may be taking a step back from the relationship. I'm seeing 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So this can be a time where maybe you're just getting to a point where you're going to be accepting. This can be somebody that is just, whatever it is. There may be constant tension with someone, and it can be a choice that you're making that you're going to, just like separate from that, because it can be something that you feel like is getting in the way of you taking those steps that you want to be taking that feel really important to you right now. And as much as that may be difficult to do, it can be something that you just don't want to be a part of that anymore, you know? Like maybe you don't want to put yourself through that anymore. Maybe you don't feel like you have to anymore. So that can be something that you end up doing. So, are there certain interactions that you're having that you don't really feel like you're benefiting and gaining from those? And it's something that, or it's just not something that you really enjoy doing anymore. And so it's something that you want to take space from. Because yeah, if you have anything, and like sure, it can be a person, it can be people, it can be other things too. If you have anything that's actively opposing or getting in the way of you living your life in this way that you want to, and you feel like it's actually the opposite of being supportive for you, and you feel like you don't have use for this, it is something that you can end up walking away from. And you can be learning how to be more clear and more direct as well within your communication, while also not creating unnecessary karmic backlash, essentially. But yeah, there could possibly be somebody that you need to have a conversation with here that you're going to have to be very clear and direct with, but that it's necessary for you in evaluating things. When we have Eight of Cups, it doesn't have to mean that you walk away from a relationship entirely. Sometimes it can be, but other times with the Eight of Cups can be like, I'm not having maybe this dynamic with this person anymore. So you can still have a dynamic with them, but maybe the dynamic is going to change. Maybe there are certain conversations you're not going to have anymore. Maybe there's a particular dance that you don't want to do anymore. So there can be something like that where you're like, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. And it doesn't feel like being wrong for walking away from something. You know, like sometimes we need to stay and we need to work things out. Having this Eight of Cups here is feeling like if something's giving you that hard of a time and it's not really changing, like maybe you gave things a chance to change and it's just the same thing day in and day out, you can feel like this is something that's gonna block you. But I get the feeling for some of you like you're gonna have to advocate for yourself in order to do this, and that may be something that you're still learning how to do. So it can be challenging for that reason, but you may need to just be really direct within this situation and call it out and do what you need to do here. And for some of you, you can for real be walking away from the dynamic. It can be something that you just don't feel like is worth it to you anymore, and you don't really feel like you're benefiting from it, and definitely not feeling fulfilled by what's going on. And because you are cultivating a stable sense of joy and happiness within your life, you're looking at this thing that's opposing that, and so you're called to do something about it, because this is also part of that for you. Whatever this is, I see it as something that very actively is like creating this noise when you're trying to do things, and this feels kind of like this is my life and I'm getting some sort of like judgment or communication about this when it's like not even somebody's business in the first place. So yeah. With that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.